As the name suggests, Nuendo's video cut detection analyzes the imported video for cuts based on a sensitivity level. Now you can review the detected cuts and adjust the sensitivity to your needs. If you're happy with the results, you can create named and colored markers or cycle markers for each cut. This brings you perfect clarity when navigating through your session and finding perspective changes or location jumps. Nuendo takes full advantage of the AAF multi-channel capabilities. So, no split files when exporting or importing a proper AAF file. This saves a lot of time and nerves when handling large AAF projects. As you can see, all multi-channel tracks and events are still intact. Nuendo provides several features to organize and tidy up your sessions, so you can always focus on what you're working on without any unnecessary distractions. If you quickly have to switch between different tasks, Nuendo's workspaces will come in very handy. You can set up and save several window layouts to recall them anytime from the Workspaces menu or by key command. This also works for multi-display setups. First step for organizing your tracks could be to filter track types that you don't need to see in the project view and/or the mix console. In this case, I don't want to see any rewire, MIDI and sampler tracks. By clicking on the magnifying glass in the project view or in the mix console, you can search for tracks by name. And even here in the search track list, folder tracks and their status are shown. You can pack your tracks into folders, which can then be folded or unfolded whenever you need them. In this example, I created and packed folder tracks for ADR, Foley, ambiences, sound effects, and music. So if I now want to view, focus and work on the sound effects, I simply unfold the sound effects folder track. Open the Visibility tab in the inspector on the left to show and hide single or several selected tracks. Folder tracks and their folding state are shown here as well. By unchecking a folder track here, it can be hidden as well, including all the tracks it contains. You can sync the track visibility of the project view with the mix console to improve overview even more. Example: to only view all Foley tracks, I simply select the corresponding folder track and hit the key command for Show Selected Tracks Only. You can also show and hide automation lanes with data for all or only the selected tracks by a single click or key command. Nuendo features another, even more advanced feature for maintaining perfect overview in any situation: the visibility agents. With these, you can conditionally determine what you want to see and what not. Like show only tracks with data, to quickly hide any empty tracks. Show tracks with data between locators, to show only tracks that have events inside the locator range. Combined with the cycle markers, like these here, I can now jump from scene to scene while the locators are adjusted simultaneously to see only the tracks that have any events playing in that scene. You can dive even deeper into conditional visibility agents by modifying existing or creating new in the project logical editor. If you constantly need to switch between several track visibility setups, you can save each as a visibility configuration and recall it from the drop-down menu whenever you need it. Here I saved one configuration, each for ADR, Foley, ambiences, sound effects and music. With Nuendo's direct routing, you can dynamically switch the target bus for a track or choose multiple target buses. I have this war scene here. In about the middle of the scene, I want to reroute all tracks to another group track with a low-pass filter on it to achieve some kind of deafening effect. So first I assign the alternate target to a direct routing slot, while holding down Alt and Shift to apply it to all selected tracks. Now, while still holding down Alt and Shift, I simply click on the new target to switch the routing for all selected tracks. Of course, this can be automated as well. I just activate automation right on each track and click on the new target again. Nuendo's mix console can be customized in the minutest details. You can have up to 4 mix consoles, each with independent configurations and track views. This grants perfect overview, even in extremely large sessions. In this session, I have one mix console for all the audio tracks, one for group tracks and effect returns, and a third one for VCA faders, instrument tracks and outputs. For quick adjustments, the main mix console can be assigned to the lower zone in the project window. The left zone also features a visibility tab, like in the inspector of the project window. A mixer undo history, where any change of any parameter is tracked. This undo history works independently from the edit history. A zones tab, where each mix console can be split in 3 sections to provide even more clarity. And the Mixer Snapshots tab. With the Mixer Snapshots, you can save different mixer settings and compare them with each other. All settings of each channel's volume, pan, pre-filter, insert states, EQ, effect sense, Q sense and plugin parameters are stored with a Mixer Snapshot and can then be recalled anytime. To save a snapshot, click on the camera icon in the left zone of the mix console or in the lower zone mixer. To recall a snapshot, simply click on the corresponding snapshot in the list. For more clarity, you can rename your snapshots and add some notes to it. In the recall settings, you can choose which mixer settings should be recalled and which not. This way, you can mix the settings of different snapshots. With Update Snapshot, you can save adjustments to a previously saved snapshot. In the center of the mix console, you can find the customizable mixer racks. Currently, it shows the pre-filters, the insert slots, the sense slots, the Q sense and the VCA assignments. Above, it shows the routing rack and the channel EQ curve for quick adjustments. In the top right, you can add or remove racks and customize the window layout to your needs. An extremely powerful feature of Nuendo's mix console is the ability to switch channel panners. For example, with the Iosono Animix Pro panner, that also comes with Nuendo, by the way. Or with the DOVR Pro Ambisonics panner from Dear Reality. Plugins can freely be moved or copied between tracks, no matter what's the channel count of the source and the target track. The VST plugins adjust automatically. Even whole insert racks can easily be moved or copied by drag and drop. Nuendo's channel settings provide control over any adjustable parameter of the selected track and is customizable to your needs. This is the full view. From right to left it shows the track fader and all linked target tracks, the direct routing section for assigning multiple or switching targets, the sense section with send panners and Q sense, In the middle, the controls of the 4-band channel equalizer with pre-filters, pre-gain and phase reverse. And on the left, the 16 insert slots, which can freely be split in pre-fader and post-fader inserts. Here you can also customize your channel strip plugins. It features a noise gate, 3 compressors, again the channel EQ, a de-esser and envelope shaper, 3 saturation tools, and 3 limiters. You can freely move the EQ to any position in the channel strip signal path. Additionally, you can decide if you want to have the whole channel strip pre- or post inserts. Nuendo features a full-grown control room that even outperforms large studio consoles and is fully customizable. You can set up to 6 external inputs for reference listening, 4 independent talkback inputs, 7 monitor sources, 4 individual Q-Sends, a separate headphone output, and up to 4 monitor setups in nearly any channel layout. You can easily switch between monitor setups with automatic downmixing if needed. If you have more than one external source connected, like a Blu-ray player for reference listening, you can switch between these sources in the External tab. To listen to an external source, switch to External in any monitor path. In the Monitor Sources tab, you can switch between or some group tracks that were assigned as monitor sources for monitoring. In the Channels tab, you can solo specific monitor channels or channel combinations. In the Downmix tab, you can choose different presets for automatic downmixing of the monitor signal. Each Q-Mix has its own tab. Here you can select the source, activate and adjust talkback and click, and set the Q-Send level. By clicking on talkback in the main tab, the assigned input is routed to all talkback enabled Qs. The talkback dim level for the control room can be adjusted here as well. The track Q-Send levels can be set from the Qs rack in the mix console. By clicking on meter in the upper right, the control room switches to metering view. Here you can choose from several digital scales and adjust the metering behavior to your needs. The main control room controls can be displayed simultaneously. A click on loudness in the lower right brings you to the loudness meter, which can also be customized to your needs. You can add insert effects to each and every monitor path if you like. This setting is stored globally, so you don't need to set up, for example, a control room calibration EQ for every new session. Nuendo has one of the most advanced and versatile marker system. You can organize your markers in up to 16 independent marker tracks. For a perfect overview, each marker track has its own list in the marker window. For example, one each for Foley and sound effect spotting, dialogue editing, scene markers, and each character an ADR, and so on. There are 2 types of markers: position markers and cycle markers to mark sections and ranges. You can not only name each marker, but add a lot of extra information. There are many predefined categories for different tasks like Foley and ADR, but you can also create your own. Extremely powerful is its possibility to export and import markers as a CSV file. With a little workaround, you can even bring markers saved in BWF WAV files or markers from Adobe Premiere into Nuendo. Import the markers from the CSV file. You can assign each column's category manually if it wasn't recognized correctly. And here are the markers from the CSV file. Nuendo has some very advanced automation features. In the Automation panel, I go to the Settings tab and activate Reveal Parameters on right. This brings up the corresponding automation lane for any touch parameter of an automation-enabled track. Continue writing on transport jump prevents automation to stop when the cursor is repositioned manually or in a loop. Use virgin territory is pretty unique. It only draws automation where it was actually written. So the same parameter can be adjusted at another point of time without using suspend, preview or writing automation. Virgin territory automation can freely be moved without affecting other automation data on the same lane. Show data on tracks shows the waveform of the corresponding audio event on each automation lane, so you can easily align automation points to it. By activating automation passes, Nuendo creates branches for each automation pass. This allows you to test different parameter settings from one or multiple starting points. No matter if film or music mixing, the fill automation options, especially loop fill, will come in very handy. It lets you write the last value of a parameter to a specific range. With this you can set levels and other parameters for many different sections in no time. It's also possible to fill to punch in, to start, to end, or to fill gaps of virgin territory automation. If you already have written automation for a parameter, you can't adjust it anymore without suspending automation. With Automation Preview, you can try out, save and recall several automation versions without having to actually write it, and thus no need to overwrite or suspend existing automation. Of course, you can manually draw automation as well. Nuendo offers some helpful and creative features to edit previously drawn or written automation. You can move breakpoints, draw Bezier curves, apply sine wave and other curve types, stretch and compress a range of automation, adjust the automation dynamic, and tilt it. Last but not least, you can write trim automation to adjust previously written volume automation. It's also possible to quickly adjust a value within a range selection or between two automation breakpoints by dragging one of the handles in the top corners or center. Automation data of several tracks can easily be moved simultaneously and copied between lanes of different parameters or tracks. Nuendo offers two ways to easily adjust the faders or any other parameter of selected tracks simultaneously. To quick link parameters, simply hold down Alt and Shift. This even applies to plugin controls, if loaded to similar insert slots. Of course, it is possible to simultaneously write automation this way. To create a permanent link group for selected tracks, simply click on Link in the Mix console and select the controls that should be linked together. It is possible to change link parameters of a group and to add or remove tracks from a link group at any time. Hold down the Alt key while adjusting a parameter to temporarily suspend it from the group. Activating the Absolute button sets the touched controls to the same value. Nuendo has some helpful stock plugins for film mixing. Here are a few that will make your life in film mixing a lot easier. Like the Mixer Delay plugin. It automatically adjusts to the channel count of the track or the event if used as a direct offline process. With this you can mute solo and phase reverse single channels, set a delay and level for each channel, and even reroute channels. For example, to reorder channel layout from Cinema to SMPTE. The Mix 6:2 or Mix 8:2 plugins let you downmix a 5.1 or 7.1 mix to quickly create a stereo preview of your multi-channel mix. If your monitoring system is connected directly to your audio interface and lacks a bass management system, you can use Bass Manager as an insert in the control room to adjust the signal levels and signal routing of the LFE and main speakers. Nuendo comes with a decent 5.1 convolution reverb plugin called Reverence. It features a large selection of impulse responses for film mixing and provides snapshot automation. And there are 3 multiband dynamics tools, which are great for sound design and mixing and normally cannot be taken for granted as stock plugins in a DAW. The multiband compressor, the multiband envelope shaper and the multiband expander gate. You can set up your hardware effects for easy implementation on any track in Nuendo. Simply create a new external effect in the studio connections and assign physical audio outputs and returns. If the hardware processor provides MIDI functionality, you can set up a corresponding connection here as well. Once you're finished, you can load your hardware effects processor to an insert slot like a VST plugin. With Nuendo's loudness track, you can measure and write a short-term loudness curve and track true peak overs for the whole program or specific sections. So you can easily check for the loudest sections and adjust if necessary. This can be done either in real time or offline. Additionally, you can normalize your mix to a specific loudness and true peak level in the audio export window. With Nuendo's direct offline processing, you can normalize selected events to an integrated loudness level. The Meters tab in the control room also provides loudness measurement in loudness units full scale and loudness units to whatever target specs you may need. Nuendo's audio export window provides some advanced options for rendering tracks, groups, or your whole mix. With the track search, you'll find the tracks you want to export in no time, even in very large sessions. With Multiple, you can export several tracks in one run. For example, the 5.1 mix and all the 5.1 stems. And this can be done for only the range between the locators or all checked cycle markers at once. In the file format options, you can mix down to mono, render the left and right channels only, or create single files for each channel. Depending on the selected file format, you get different file type settings. And of course, you can do a real-time export and directly re-import rendered files to a new session or to new tracks in the same session for further processing. Especially when performing a multi-track and/or cycle marker export, the naming scheme option will come in very handy.